Hello, I'm State Representative Larry Springer from the 45th Legislative District. The district covers parts of Kirkland, Redmond, and Woodinville, as well as Sammamish and Duval. We are just 5 days away from the close of our legislative session, and I just want to highlight 3 or 4 bills that I think are of particular interest to me. This was a session really focused on housing, and 2 bills I want to highlight: House Bill 1110, which will allow cities to increase density in their single-family neighborhoods by allowing them to build what are called ADUs, or accessory dwelling units. There are certain conditions that have to be met, certain safety precautions that have to be met, such as parking and the like, but it does allow for some increased density and some housing affordability. In addition to that, one of the more significant housing pieces of legislation this year is what we call the Covenant Bill. We have come to find out that as late as 1968, Washington State still had racially discriminatory covenants on neighborhood associations, preventing primarily black people, but all others of color, from even getting a mortgage. We have now set up a fund that will provide low-interest home mortgage loans to help people who had been discriminated against as recently as 1968 to get into home ownership. It is one of the ways you build generational wealth and was explicitly denied to people of color in Washington just a few decades ago. On another front, I have been working the last several years in the natural resource field, primarily around wildfire preparation, wildfire defense, and wildfire attack. We passed a bill 2 years ago, doing a lot of work with Eastern Washington, around the Department of Natural Resources. This year I passed a bill that has strengthened our ability to attack wildfires on the west side of the mountains. Fire activity on the west side is completely different than it is on the east side, and we need a new approach. That was brought home to us last year, that Bolt Creek fire that smothered Seattle in smoke for weeks on end. Lastly, we have been trying for years in Washington State to have sensible gun laws. This year, we were finally able to pass a ban on assault rifles. It is, of course, very controversial, but going forward, you will not be able to purchase an assault-style weapon in Washington State. If you currently own one, you can keep it. We're not taking them away. We're simply preventing people from buying them in the future. We also attach to some of those bills a reasonable waiting period and some training required to purchase a firearm. I will close by saying keep an eye on your mailbox. After session is over, my seatmate and I, Representative Goodman, will send out our yearly joint print newsletter that will highlight some of the work that each of us have been doing. So with that, I will get back to the last 5 days of session, and hopefully we'll have some warm weather by the time Monday rolls around. Thanks for listening.